So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Now, as always guys, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and comment and leave plenty of comments so I'll hopefully respond to some of you guys as well. So, this fight between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou has been made, and potentially the date should be the 8th of March this year. Now, it's an interesting fight, and I think it's a good fight for Anthony Joshua. Now, the reason why I think it's interesting is because obviously Ngannou is now ranked in the WBC, meaning that obviously this is a proper competitive fight, although it's still going down as a 10-round exhibition fight between the pair. But it's a good fight for Anthony Joshua because boxing skills-wise, for skills, Ngannou shouldn't really cause him too much trouble. We know now what Francis Ngannou brings to the table. We've seen him go up against Tyson Fury, so we know what skills he has, and obviously we know that he's got power because his knockout ratio in at UFC is phenomenal, and he obviously dropped Tyson Fury in their bout as well, and um, yeah, it's quite interesting there. So we know that he's got power. We know that, you know what I mean, he's not scared to stand and trade and mix it with people. So for Anthony Joshua, I think the way that he's been boxing recently, especially since, you know what I mean, that second Alexander Usyk loss, if he boxes the way he has been boxing, more of a cautious and just sticking to the jab and using the ring and, you know what I mean, tying someone up when they get too close and not trying to trade or get caught with silly shots, then it should be a quite comfortable and good performance from Anthony Joshua. And if he could potentially put on a better display than what Tyson Fury did against Francis Ngannou, then he's then got, you know what I mean, a bit more ammunition to say, hey, look, I fought two of your previous opponents, Otto Wildley and Francis Ngannou, and I've dealt with both of these guys better than what you have. Let's get this fight on at the end of this year between me and you. And if for somehow that, you know what I mean, Anthony Joshua doing a good job on Ngannou could maybe entice Tyson Fury to sign a contract and to get him into the ring for the end of the year, especially if it's in the UK, that would be a phenomenal show and bout and fight as well, because most people have been wanting to see that fight for many years, and we've come so close on multiple occasions, but it just wasn't enough at times. Something's always kind of got in the way, but I think it's a good fight for Anthony Joshua. There was talk about Filip Hrgovic fight. Obviously, if he fights him and beats him, then depending on what happens with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk in their bout, if they have a rematch and they get stripped at IBF, then the winner of Hrgovic versus Anthony Joshua will then automatically become the champion in recess. So not recess, but the automatic champion sort of thing. So I don't think that fight's going to happen now. I do think Hrgovic will fight, if not on the Tyson Fury, probably not on the Tyson Fury. I think that's a bit too soon, but I think he will fight on that March card then, on the AJ bill, and it'll probably be an easy type of opponent, similar to who he kind of fought recently. Was it Mark Demore? A similar type of opponent, because he doesn't really want to risk it for Biscuit. He doesn't want to take on someone quite dangerous and, you know what I mean, end up losing that mandatory that slot, you know what I mean, that number one slot. So there's no point really at this stage, because he could potentially be the next IBF champion. So yeah, there was talk with AJ and Hrgovic. That doesn't look like it's happening now. He's now signed a contract with Ngannou, which is quite weird because, you know what I mean, in December he signed that contract with Deontay Wilder, and we know what happened there. Obviously Wilder lost, and that curtailed that fight between the pair. So I just hope that, you know what I mean, now that he's signed this contract, we could maybe see this fight. And depending on if Deontay Wilder fights, and depending on what happens and how he handles his opponent in March, we may see that fight between the pair, AJ and Wilder, if the Hrgovic fight isn't there, or the IBF belt isn't been stripped, or whichever. We don't really know, really, but um, the Saudis are doing good things, and my hat does go off to them because they are changing the heavyweight landscape, and I just hope it continues. I hope we get to see the big fight. And for me, obviously, we're going to see, hopefully, the Fury versus Usyk fight, which is coming up February. But depending on what happens there, I hope we do get to see the big fight that everyone realistically wants to see, and that's AJ versus Fury. So anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in regards to Anthony Joshua's next opponent, which is Francis Ngannou. Are you happy with this? You know what I mean, type of opponent? Would you prefer him to fight against Filip Hrgovic? As always, guys, let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bless.